Hello guys, welcome back. My name is Sarah. I'm a mindset mastery coach, transformational hypnotherapist, and attachment style specialist. In today's video, we are once again talking about the subject of no contact. And I want to talk about it kind of from a different context, a different perspective. This is such a hot topic right now. And again, I want to sort of shed some light onto the importance of no contact for you, not your partner, but why this can really benefit you and why this can bring healing to you rather than playing a game, right? This is not about who's on top. It's not about the power struggle, but rather this is about you taking your power back. And I'm going to talk a little bit about how the avoidant will feel during this process, because this is actually really interesting and pretty surprising. So stay tuned to the end. This will be a nice, short, concise video. And if you're interested in learning more and working with me, you can reach out. There is a 20-minute free discovery call link in the description box below. And stay tuned because my website is days from launching. Okay. So let's just dive right into this topic. This is quickly becoming one of my favorite topics because it is just so hot off the press right now, hot off the presses. No contact. What does this really do? What is the true purpose of this? Well, it's to take your power back. It's to really disrupt that cycle or interrupt that cycle of avoidance. And this is going to make your ex-avoidant partner or avoidant partner think. It's going to stop the avoidant sort of behavior in its tracks, but not necessarily right off the bat. And I want to just bring this to your attention and remind you that avoidants take longer in the no contact cycle for it to actually affect them. Remember, they're suppressing or repressing their feelings. They are not emotionally processing the grief, the loss of the relationship of what just happened. While you're over here, you're in therapy, I don't know, you're like doing everything possible, right, to get yourself healthy. The avoidance over here, dealing with everything that just happened. They're doing everything possible. Maybe they're even in another relationship. So they're definitely not healing. And one of the things I hear the most is, well, what if my ex-avoidant partner is suddenly happy with that new person? Nope, that's not happening. I can say that affirmatively. Even if they appear happy on social media or they're getting married or any number of things, that person is not happy. I had an avoidant ex come back to me 7 years later. He had married 2 women. We never got married, by the way, thank God. But he had married 2 women and had 2 more babies, a total of 4. I'm the 4th wife, right? I'm like 40 years old. And he apologized to me after 7 years. So it took him 7 years to realize really the effects that he had had on another human being. And then to get the guts up to actually reach out to me. And I responded really, nicely and respectfully. I didn't need the apology at that point. It was 7 years later, but he felt he needed it for some reason. And I was glad to give him whatever he needed at that time because there was literally no emotional charge anymore whatsoever. But I just wanted to paint an example because you guys seem to really like the real time and real life examples and stories that I put into my videos. So I wanted to just paint that in there to give you an idea of what this can look like. But he had been through so many relationships and hurt so many other women since me that I was like, oh my gosh, this man he has yet to this day, it's been 9 years, I think. He has not to this day spent any time alone to actually figure himself out. He just jumped from woman to woman. Now, other avoidants will just dive into work. They'll become workaholics or they'll become loners. And I just talked about that on my other video I posted today. So go check that out. I talked about the lone wolf. I talked about what an unhealed man goes through, what it looks like, really fascinating stuff, really important stuff. So check that out. But the last piece of information that I talked about on that video was this lone wolf syndrome. I will do it alone. I will heal alone. I don't need anybody. Anyway, back to no contact. So remember, the avoidant is going through delayed healing. It's a delayed healing process. So while you're over here healing, the avoidant is avoiding the healing, suppressing their emotions, suppressing the processing of these emotions to be able to actually healthily get to the other side of this. So when you pull back and you truly do no contact, and the intention matters, you can't just do this to play a game. You can't just do this to ha ha ha, I've got you, I one-upped you. That's not going to work. Intentions matter. The energy behind this matters. They will feel this. They're really intelligent beings. They will feel this. I'm telling you, they will know this. They're going to be it'll be like shark and blood in the water. They'll be like, nope, they're doing this to upset me. They're doing this. If you try to make them jealous, that's also not going to work. That's not how an avoidant operates. But when you pull back, that forces them to deal with your absence sooner than maybe they would have otherwise. They're like, wait a second, this person's not here. Especially if you were anxiously, like operating anxiously within the relationship, and all their other partners have probably been anxious, because remember, anxious and avoidance are the ones who tend to get together the most. They're going to be expecting you to chase them, expecting you to take them back at all costs, expecting you to beg and plead with them. And the moment that either you don't do that at all, which can be very challenging, I know, or the moment that you just start doing that and implementing that, it's going to change the whole entire dynamic. You'll feel it in the core of your soul. You will feel that you have taken your power back. They're going to feel it too. They're used to having control. Remember this. I talk about this a lot on my videos. They're used to having the control and making you sweat. Not even a little bit, like a lot. They like to have the control. They will even admit this. I want to be in control. I like things done my way. So the minute that you pull back, it's like, wait a second, I'm no longer in control. They're wondering, what is she or he thinking? What is she or he doing? Are they with somebody? Have they gotten over me? And it starts to sink in. They may even have moments of panic where they're like, wait a second, I thought I had a hold on this person. I thought I had time to heal. I thought I had time to recover and time to repair this. And maybe even in their minds, I can tell you this, I work with avoidance, in their minds, it might be like, they might actually be thinking, well, I just needed some space. Even if it's a divorce, they might actually, in like a convoluted or distorted way of thinking of, well, I just needed some space. And then remember, it's in the space where the avoidant starts to miss you. But this is not a reason, I cannot stress this enough. This is not a reason to go no contact just to make them miss you. That's just a side effect of you going no contact. You're doing it for yourself and your own healing and to move forward in your life. When you pull back, you're interrupting the game. And this is a subconscious game that they are playing. Someone has to be on top, okay? So the avoidant is used to being in control. They're used to being on top. You're sort of here. You're like vying for attention, for affection, etc. The moment you do this in no contact, it changes. The globe shifts, okay? The power struggle shifts. There's always somebody who has a little bit more power in the relationship. Why not let it be you for a little while? But again, it's not about you having power in the egoic sense. This is about you taking your power back, shifting from that place, your center and seat of personal power, your solar plexus. If you're familiar with chakras or energy centers, Joe Dispenza talks about it, Deepak Chopra talks about it, yogis talk about it. So if you understand what I'm talking about, and if you don't, look it up, it's really fascinating stuff. So that solar plexus, right underneath your belly, the center and seat of your personal power, take it back. Without that, guys, your life force is depleted. You will feel autoimmune conditions kick in, especially for women. You will feel your immune system literally like deplete itself. You will feel your energy, your physical vitality be depleted because you're giving your power away. You're feeding it instead of looking at yourself. Also, did you know this? That the more you're looking at that person, you're avoiding your own healing. You're doing your own avoidance. My beautiful anxious codependents out there, that is your way of avoiding. We all have our ways. The ego is so slick. We all have our ways of avoiding our healing and avoiding ourselves. You're doing it too. So let's not put all the blame, on the avoidant. Okay. They're forced to process some of the loss. I'm not going to say all of it because I think that takes a lot longer for a true avoidant, but they're forced to at least face it. They're forced to come face to face with the loss of you. Think about that for a second. They're forced to face that they lost maybe the best thing that they ever had, the love of their life, right? The person they thought, like, this person's going to be in my life forever. And by the way, when they said those things, they meant them. So chew on that for a minute. When you pull back and disrupt the cycle of avoidance, it's like you literally are yanking them out of their avoidance, but you're not doing it in a way that's nitpicking. You're not challenging them. You're not activating them. You're not attacking them. You're not asking for anything. You're not even asking them to meet your needs. In fact, you're meeting your own needs. By meeting your own needs, you suddenly become more attractive to the avoidant. Isn't that wild? So you're surprising them. They're pleasantly surprised, and it gets them thinking like, even if they're in another relationship, they're like, you might become the Phantom X, but you're not doing that because you want to become the Phantom X. Like, I don't think that's anything to aspire to, but rather you're doing it again for yourself. So you're working on your own healing, and that's always going to be the reason. That's always going to be the goal, is to heal yourself. But they realize they might have lost you. There's an aha epiphany moment of, they realize you might not always be around, because up until this point, I can guarantee you they thought that you would always be around because you always have sort of been there for them. You're sending them, some of you have probably sent them my videos or other people's videos. You're sending them, here's books to read. I even thought about doing it myself, guys. I thought about sending my ex a book on attachment, sending it anonymously. Of course he would have known it was me. He doesn't know I'm doing these videos, but of course he would have known it was me. Of course, because he knows me. And because all throughout the marriage, I would send him, male, like male coach content to look at so that I was trying to activate his healing. And that pissed him off more than anything. And now I sit in his place of peace, but not for him, not to win him back, but for me. Guys, I know where you're sitting. I've been there. I am you. I'm a couple steps ahead, but I know where you are. I know the pain. I know the rumination cycle. I know it well. One thing that interrupts that rumination cycle is hypnotherapy. It's why I employ it in my sessions with clients. It's so effective of getting to the root and the core of the matter and the issue by speaking to your parts, by speaking to your subconscious mind. That's running the damn show, okay? That subconscious mind is running those ruminating thoughts, is running the anxiety loop, is running this loop that tells you you'll never find anybody again, that person was your end all be all. Those are not true. Those are intrusive thoughts, but they seem really real, don't they? But they're not. You're not feeding their avoidance anymore. The moment you pull back, you're refusing to engage. By refusing to engage, guys, this is so powerful. By refusing to engage, you take your power back silently, and that's the most powerful way to do it. Not screaming, not yelling, not fighting, not even arguing your point, just pulling back silently. Okay. Taking your no contact, taking your space, and see what happens. There is no need for them to pull back anymore. This is how it disrupts the cycle. They don't need to pull back anymore because you're the one pulling back. So you're taking your power back, you're pulling back. And in doing so, it actually forces them to come forward or step forward. Now, disclaimer, this is not like magic voodoo or whatever, like a magic spell to get your ex back. You guys know by now, if you've watched me, or you will know after this video that I am not an advocate for, I'm not one of those get your ex back coaches. That's manipulation, and there's a lot of people doing it, taking people's money. I think it's bullshit. My focus is on you and your healing. And if your ex wants to be a part of your life and a part of your future and a part of that picture, they better damn well step up. And they better come up to your level, or at least be working their way to that level, right? They better be doing the work, because otherwise, what's gonna happen? The same cycle will repeat itself over and over and over. Focus on yourself and your own presence. Focus on you and your presence and your life and what you're creating in this world, not on their absence, guys. Stop looking backwards. Look forwards. Will that person be in your life? I don't know. That's the anxiety talking. Nobody knows what's going to happen tomorrow. So, I'll have clients ask me, well, can you tell me if they're coming back? No, I'm not a fortune teller. Even when I was doing tarot cards, I'm not a fortune teller. And I would never predict the future. I think that that's really unprofessional and inappropriate. I would never do that. What I will do is tell you that by you taking your power back, I can guarantee you that you're going to feel better. Your autoimmune conditions may start to clear up and improve. Your health will definitely improve. Your immune system will be boosted, and you will stop being the victim. You will bring yourself out of victim consciousness. It's a terrible thing that happened, right, to us. It's a terrible thing to go through this. However, how can you empower yourself? Think of empowering thoughts. I am so grateful that I went through this, because now I know what I don't want. Now I know what I do deserve. Now I know what I want my life to look like. Now I know the kind of partner that I want in my life, that I need in my life. Now I know what my needs are. And that is powerful, because then you move forward and you ask for those things. That's the next step, asking for the things that you truly want and deserve. Think about this. Did you ever do those dating sites? I'm aging myself here, right? Like 20 years ago, it was a long time ago. Back when I was 5, just kidding. My Gen Xers. And I'm on the tail end of Gen X, but a lot of dating sites, so many people would reveal their attachment styles on there. A fiercely independent, ding, 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 avoidant. like to spend all my free time with my partner. Ding, 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 probably anxious, right? The fearful avoidance on there. Like, they're the ones like, yeah, I love being with my partner, but then I love being alone, and it's like, you could almost see the attachment styles just looking at those dating profiles. Think about the dating profile that you created. Were you being true? Were you being real? Or were you just trying to create something that you think would attract the person that you think you want? Like, I know for sure that in my life, years ago, 15 years ago, whatever, 20 years ago, I was trying to present myself as something that I wasn't. I wasn't being authentic because I was afraid it would scare off the people. Scare off the damn people so that you attract in the right people. Scare off the wrong people to attract in the right people. Don't be afraid to be yourself. Don't be afraid to be authentic. Don't be afraid to love every aspect of yourself, guys. This no contact works if you do it for the right reasons. Now, what happens when that avoidant comes back? It's a topic for another video because lots of things could happen. I have so many questions, right? Are they healed? Have they been healing? Have they been to any kind of therapy? A healer, a coach, a shaman? I don't know, did they go do ayahuasca for 30 days straight? What have they done to work on themselves? What do they know their attachment style? Do they understand what that means? Are they willing and ready to be flexible and work within the container of a relationship? Because if they're not, it can't work. Are they willing to address your needs? Are they willing to express their needs? Are they willing to work on things? Are they willing to communicate in a healthy way? Are they going to stop stonewalling and running away? Are you going to be able to both understand each other's attachment styles? Or do you need to move on to somebody more secure? Because maybe you're becoming more secure. So there's so many questions to ask. You can't just hop into a relationship just because so many people, like I ask my clients, okay, let's fast forward, you've got the person back, then what? The person's back in your life, but they haven't done any work, but you have. Then what? And usually I get silence because that person is really truly being honest with themselves and thinking, well, you're right, that wouldn't work. And then there's sadness, there's pain, the pain of the loss, because you're like, then you have that realization. That's the next level of healing of, oh, actually just having them back won't solve the problem. It goes deeper than that. I can't just ask to have them back. I have to want them back, a healed version, a different version of themselves, a different version of you, my friends. If you attracted an avoidant, guess what? You have work to do. You are probably anxious or fearful avoidant. You have your work cut out for you as well. Focus on you. Here's the most beautiful ending I can think of for no contact. The most beautiful ending. I'm going to paint the picture. You do your work and they're doing their work, but you don't know it, they don't know it. You run into each other or someone sends a kind message. There's no triggers at this point. You've done your work. You've got so much self-awareness. They're coming into their own in self-awareness. They now know their attachment style. They're working to become more secure. They don't want to be avoidant anymore. They realize the damage it's done. They're really working on bettering themselves. And then you come back together, you have a conversation, or you meet for coffee or whatever, and the conversation unfolds. And there's a willingness, there's an openness, there's a kindness, there's a respect that maybe wasn't present before. And you're able to talk about things and no one's triggered. And if you do get minorly triggered, you deal with it. If you get activated, you talk about it. And then maybe you start fresh as two different people, a completely different relationship. My husband and I have said, we are in the process. It's a lengthy process because of the state we were living in. And so it takes time. You can't just automatically get divorced. They make you wait. It's called a waiting period. It's a cooling off period to see if you can work things out. We've both said when we were discussing the, potential divorce, like impending divorce before it happened, it would have to be a whole new relationship. We would have to get remarried. Like, it would have to be nothing like the previous relationship. And I think that's true for a lot of you. If you're really honest with yourselves, can you dig deep and really be honest with yourself that it would have to be a totally different relationship for it to truly work for you and for that person, for the highest good of all involved, of any children involved, friends and family, yourself, them, your future selves. And some of you, again, that's like the best case scenario. The other best case scenario is that you heal, they heal, and then you both go off and you both realize you're better with other people and you both have your happily ever afters. I want healing for everybody. You guys know that by now. I'm not bashing avoidance. I am a healing, fearful avoidant. I'm not bashing avoidance. I'm not bashing anxious. I'm not bashing anything. But I'm here to explain, and there's a raw truth that can rub some people the wrong way. That's okay. If I've triggered you, great. If I've given you what you wanted, great. Like if I haven't given you, all those things are great because we learn from those things. And we learn from all our experiences. So can you sit down honestly with yourself and really and truly commit to no contact for you? And if you're struggling with that, reach out to me and let's book a session and see if I can help you with that. I can help with ruminating thoughts. I can help with intrusive thoughts. I can help with the anxiety. I can help with sleepless nights. Hypnotherapy addresses all of those things. And I want you guys to really, truly understand that this work is so deep. It's so near and dear to my heart because we're dealing with the wounded inner child. We're dealing with the child that didn't get their needs met for all of us. And we all deserve to feel loved and to know that we're loved and loving. We're incredible. You're incredible. You're doing the best you can. So I commend you wherever you are, whether you reached out to them today and you caved, or whether you've been in no contact for a year, wherever you are, whether you still miss them, you still look at their pictures. I commend you wherever you are. This is not easy stuff, guys. I'm sending you guys a lot of love and a lot of healing, and take really good care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.